Hey, Becker again. In this video, I'm going to be focusing on saving in your e-commerce business. Look, we see the same amount of losses usually in e-commerce businesses repeatedly over and over and over again across people's accounts. I'm going to show you in this video where you should probably be looking to get the most savings. Okay, guys, in this video, I want to talk about e-commerce, like I stated a second ago, and just saving money. Now, I want to really reference you to the first video in this, but I'm going to talk about a few more things you need to particularly look out for in e-commerce. Okay? The main thing you're going to consistently see in e-commerce is over-reporting. By far, that's your biggest threat in e-commerce, especially on Facebook, because most e-commerce stores run primarily on Facebook. And what's going to happen a lot of times is because there's so many different ads and retargeting going on, and you have so many repeated sales. By repeated sales, I mean if we're looking at like a sales call funnel, you only have maybe 100 sales per month. An e-commerce store can have thousands, tens of thousands of sales per month. And so the crisscrossing gets very combobulated, okay? You're going to have a person looking at 5, 10 different ads on Facebook before they buy, and the retargeting is a lot bigger of a impact. So what does this mean? You have to be aware that due to retargeting being so important on Facebook, and there also being so many ads to the same audiences over and over again on Facebook, let's say we got a viewer right here or a clicker who comes to your store, they can probably view 5 or 6 different ads before they go through, and tracking can be lost between here and here and here on Facebook. And so what you're going to have a lot of times is you're simply just going to have the wrong sale going to the wrong ad. Okay? And so the number one thing you really want to look out for, and where you're really going to get in a lot of trouble in your dashboards if you're using just the ad manager, is first this, over-reporting. You just want to look for these reds right here, reported versus revenue. You're going to routinely see Facebook reporting sales they didn't get or reporting it to the wrong ad. Okay? The bigger your e-commerce store gets, the more this problem gets compounded just because of the loss between tracking when people are viewing ads. Okay? You need to look for that intensely. Okay, you also need to ask yourself, does my store have a lot of organic traffic? Am I running traffic on other sources? As soon as you start getting lots of organic traffic, your email marketing starts kicking in, and you start running traffic on other sources, the crisscrossing and misattribution skyrockets. And this is super prevalent because people are going to see and interact with your business in a lot more repetitive ways than any other business model. So the first thing you can really do, and again, look for this red column right here. If you could just isolate your thought process to this the reds on this column right here, and turn off ads or move them accordingly based on this reported versus revenue right here, and actually look at the HYROS revenue, you're just going to see better results by default. But if you understand why you're seeing the over-reporting, it's going to help you a lot. So for example, if you're running TikTok ads and YouTube ads, what's going to happen is you're going to start seeing a lot of this over-reporting. You're going to start seeing a lot of this over-reporting. And it's really important in e-commerce, you should probably work around the last click. Okay, you should work around the last click a lot of times because that's where your sales are frankly coming from. You can do a lot of advanced things I'm going to talk about in later sections, but last click mode inside of HYROS is going to get the job done. And it's going to give you the best rule of thumb to operate around because you have really short click to sale time. So last click is really all that matters. Facebook will give itself view through conversions. It will give earlier clicks. You want to work off the last click. Okay? That's my other big tip for you. This is what we see work in a lot of accounts. On top of that, with your stores, you want to make sure to get HYROS tracking on your email. Okay, because again, abandoned carts are critical to a store's success, and you're going to see a lot of times, well, the abandoned carts or your email follow-ups are joining the sales. Or you're going to see people searching for your brand. Do you have organic traffic? The compounding misattribution from Facebook and Google they will explode at that point. Because what's going to happen is people that skim through or are searching for your brand, they're the ones that Facebook is going to show your ads to the most. And so it's going to take credit for all your sales as well. Look out for that. It's extremely important. Okay? And so, for example, let's imagine you have a person, you're selling jeans. Okay, I had a jeans brand a few months ago we're looking at. Tons of organic traffic. Well, of course, the people searching for the brand are also the people that are customers. And so Facebook, even from cold audiences, is going to show ads to these people, and on the retargeting audiences and lookalike audiences is going to show ads to these people. When these people really are just skimming past these ads on Facebook, they're not looking for them. They're not clicking the ads in particular, and they're just searching for the brand. On top of that, on Facebook, turn off your view through conversions. Turn off view through conversions, period. One day click is what you need to be looking at as far as e-commerce goes. You can look at all the advanced stats and long-term value in HYROS. You don't want to be giving Facebook permission to be reporting sales that doesn't necessarily have anything to do with. Same thing with Google. Okay? And so those are just a few things you want to look for. You're going to again see Facebook a lot of times, if you have organic traffic, giving itself way too much credit as well for the search sales. It might give itself a view through conversion, or a lot of people that click on your search ads. Well, what's going to also happen is they're going to do more Google searches. If a person clicks on your search ad, they're usually going to be coming back and also Googling you again and skipping that search ad. But that search ad will still give itself credit. So you're going to see a lot of misattribution on Google search ads, particularly in e-commerce. Okay, and so that's where we see things happening the most. If you have a small $10,000 per month ad spend e-commerce store, you're not going to see the largest misattributions. You might just be missing sales. But as you get into e-commerce, your biggest threat becomes over attribution, not under attribution, because a lot of the sales, because of the short click period time, are not that challenging for ad platforms to find or attribute. Where the challenge becomes, and they still mess up that attribution, by the way, where the challenge really takes off is when you start having multiple traffic sources and the traffic or the ad platforms start taking credit for each other. That's when you start seeing e-commerce stores losing money hand over foot by investing in ads, like for example right here, that aren't actually profitable because the sales are coming from somewhere else, or they're coming from email, or they're coming from organic, or they're coming from TikTok, or it's coming from another ad platform. That's where you live and die at when it comes to e-commerce, and this is the best way to look at it. Again, there's so many other cool things you can do, like looking at your long-term value of your customers, looking at the after effects after someone buys. So if someone buys this e-commerce product first right there, how much do they spend later on in the month? Do they come back and buy more? There's a lot of really ninja things you can do to scale your ads even further and say like, hey, look, I spent $1,000 on these ads, made $2,000 right back right away, but over 6 months, I made another $4,000. That can change your business overnight, and that's what you want to be looking for, especially when you're trying to grow your e-commerce store. But this is where you're going to lose the most money at. If you can just stop yourself from losing money, HYROS is going to pay for itself 1,000 times over, and there's no way to set this between all your organic sources, all your other ad platforms as easily or as functionally as HYROS. So this is gonna save your butt in your e-commerce store. So check it out. Talk to your rep if you need help applying some of this stuff.